Sometimes you just gotta give it a nudge. I wish I did. I went to no, they were. I was like, that's 10 by. I'm probably going to be yeah. This, I think. What? I think this. Okay. I think.
Sometimes doesn't work.
Okay. This is not the slide. Here, let me. Oh, sorry. Let me do this.
You gotta put it on slideshow. The slideshow.
Is it at the very top? It's right here. Present. You can go right here. Oh, there we go. Oops. It's not working. It's okay. I can always just click.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Show slides.
Oh, I did. I did.
Did.
Here we go.
Oh, there we
Now
go.
it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Nice. Cool.
Thank you.
I'm returning.
Testing, testing.
No, your slideshow.
Oh,
The clicker, sorry.
yep. If I need to, I'll handle it.
Okay, it's ready. Ready? Okay. All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's time to get started. Everybody should be seated around their section, and there should be attendance being taken, so make sure somebody knows that you're here. All phones should be put away, but if you are going to take notes, which is a great idea, you should have paper and pen out or a computer. All right. So today for our speaker, we have Lauren Mclaughlin here. She is our Academic Success Accessibility Coordinator, and she's right here on our Marian campus. Today she's going to be speaking on passion and perseverance. Please help me welcome her to the front.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Good, okay. Okay, so like she said, my name is Lauren Mclaughlin. I'm the Accessibility Coordinator here on campus. Really, accessibility services, for those of you who haven't heard my spiel yet, I'm going to give it to you now. Accessibility services, so the bulk of what I do is I work with students with disabilities and short-term impairments. So disability could be anything like a learning disability, OCD, ADHD, or short-term impairment could be like if you break your arm or if you sustain a concussion, you might need some accommodations to get you through that recovery. So really that's the bulk of what I do, but I want to make sure that I'm accessible to all students, not just ones that might need accommodation. So really, I'm not a content expert, so I'm not an expert in biology or math or history, but I am a learning expert. So if there's ever anything you're struggling with, I could probably give you some tips, some tricks, or some resources. Just a quick example of that. I have here, this is what I use for all my presentations. They're really just note cards, and they're binded together. I use these for all my presentations just because I have a tendency to lose track of my thoughts. This helps me get back on track. But for you, I know there's a big component in Scoop with note-taking. So one strategy you can do is, I have a ton of these. If you want to come see me, I will give you one. You can take notes, and then when it comes time to do a test or you're ready to study, you can transfer it onto here. Some professors might actually let you use something like this while you're taking the test, but it's just a good study tool. But that's just one way I can help anyone. So today, what I'm really going to talk about is just a little bit on passion and of the bulk on perseverance. Really, in a nutshell, all that is setting goals and then following through with those goals. So you've probably heard this before, the 3 Ps to success. Passion, purpose, perseverance. For me, passion and perseverance, or passion and purpose go hand in hand. That's really the thoughts behind the actions. And then when you're talking about perseverance, that's the actions, that's the actual doing. The words kind of floating around outside the circle, those are the meat and potatoes of all 3. So the why, interests, strengths, values, these are the things that you're going to be passionate about. These are the things that give you purpose. These are the things that are going to help you persevere through to those goals. Can I move on? I know some people are writing down. So like I said, passion and perseverance. So passion, it's not just the things you like, it's not just hobbies. It's really the strong feelings or beliefs. It's the things that you feel so strongly about that you have to take action on them. And that goes into a purpose. It's the thing that you are most passionate about that you can put into the world to benefit others. So when you're thinking about a career, I don't know if some of you know exactly what you want or if you're still kind of thinking about it, but when you think about your values, your interests, the strengths, the things you're good at, that's what's going to make you passionate, that's what's going to give you a purpose, and it's going to give you the answer, what gives you a sense of purpose in the world? What can I put out there into the world that's going to benefit other people? So to give you an example, I'm going to talk a little bit about me, my journey. I promise you, my ego is not that big. I think my story will relate to a lot of you because I actually was a student here. I didn't talk about that in the beginning, but I actually got both my degrees from Marian, and now I have returned after a brief stint away. But before I get into that, one thing I always struggle with is kind of putting my purpose or my why into words or into just sentences. I taught for a long time, and they would always kind of talk about, well, what's your why? I really struggled to put that into just one sentence. So I thought of a couple just words that would that would kind of go along with it. So instead of sentences, I come up with words. The reason that I think I always struggled with purpose was because I come from a big family of teachers on my mom's side. My mom's a teacher, my aunt and my uncle. My aunt is still a teacher, my uncle doesn't teach anymore. My cousins teach, so teaching was always just something that was going to happen. It was always just something that made sense. It was the only thing that I ever saw myself doing. When I think of teaching, I come into these words. So education. I believe that I am an educator to my core. It's the thing I value most. Education, I feel, is the thing is the really only thing that moves us forward as a society. And then instruction. One thing that I felt that I was always good at was teaching and coaching. I played hockey while I was here, and I'm still a hockey coach to this day. But that's one thing that I always thought providing instruction and actually teaching students and young people was one thing I thought I was always pretty good at. And then service. When I think of service, I always kind of thought that, someone always did it for me, so I'm going to do it for others. I always had teachers and educators, professors that were kind, they were understanding, they were accommodating. So myself as a teacher, I always tried to be kind and understanding and accommodating. So my journey was always fueled by these three things. So how did I get here? So first off, I went to school in Michigan. After I graduated high school, I started 2 years there. I was in the teaching program, and then I transferred here to Marian. I started as a junior. One issue that I ran into when I transferred in was that all my teaching hours that I did, the very start of my teaching hours in Michigan, did not transfer over here in Wisconsin. So I would have essentially had to start all over in the education program, which was not totally feasible because I would have stayed in college a lot longer than expected. So one thing that was changing was while I was here, the ESS program started. And that was kind of something that I became interested in because I was like, well, if I'm not going to be a teacher, if that's, I could put that on the back burner, but I could probably be a coach. So I thought maybe I would pursue a career in college coaching. So that's what I did. I changed majors. I went to ESS and I got my degree. I graduated and then I got a job right out of college. I was the assistant women's hockey coach in the inaugural season for Northland College. If you don't know where Northland is, it's way up in Ashland, Wisconsin, as far up north as you can go on Lake Superior. While it was wonderful, it was very far away. And one thing I didn't like about college coaching was I never found myself to be very good at recruiting. I'm certainly not a salesman. So a lot of it was just a lot of recruiting. I was on the road a lot, and there was not a whole lot of coaching involved. So I decided to switch gears and move back to the area. I moved to Oshkosh. I decided to go back for teaching, and I started as a substitute teacher in the Oshkosh Area School District. I did that for 1 year, and then I decided to go back to Marian and get my master's in education with licensure in special education. After my 1 year substitute teaching, I was hired as a special education teacher in the Fond du Lac School District at the high school, and I've done that for the last 6 years. And now, just this year, I decided to take this job. So, as I kind of talked about, despite all the moves and changes, there's 3 things that never changed. That was, I was always involved in education in some capacity. I continue to build on my ability to provide instruction. So as far as coaching goes, I've coached almost every single age, 3 to 21. When I was substitute teaching, I taught elementary, I taught middle, and I taught high school. I also taught special education and general education. So I gained a ton of experience throughout all of that. And then finally, I provided a service to students to hopefully make their lives better. So really, in a nutshell, every career decision I made was in service to those 3 things, and it'll probably be what drives my decision-making for the rest of my career. So really, when you set your goals with your purpose in mind, you let it drive your career decisions. So that's why purpose and passion are so important. But what happens, of course, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be setbacks. That's just a fact. So what happens when, how do you keep moving forward despite the setbacks? This is where perseverance comes in. So I got this definition and this information I was kind of like searching on Google, and I found this guy named Alden Mills, motivational speaker, goes around the country, talks about this kind of stuff. But he talks about the true meaning of perseverance. What I really liked about what he kind of wrote in this blog that I found was he talks about perseverance as not just like the mindset of it, the fluffy, it's the actual practical sense of how do you persevere through something. So the definition that he gave was perseverance is the quality of sticking to something despite difficulty, setbacks, or discouragement. So no matter what, you are reaching that goal despite anything that comes in your way. And this is a skill that you develop throughout adulthood. So it starts now in college and continues. When you get into it from a practical sense, these are the 4, so how you develop it, these are the 4 things that goes into it. First thing is breaking it down into manageable steps. So anything that you find worth accomplishing takes time. And it's easy to forget that because things do get so overwhelming and you get so anxious. And it's hard, and once you get into that mindset, it's hard to imagine that your goal is actually going to come into fruition. So it's easy to break it down into more manageable steps. So my example, becoming a teacher in undergrad, as I said, after I transferred, was not going to be feasible. So it's something I had to put on the back burner. It was not something I enjoyed doing. It's not something I wanted to do, but it was something that was necessary. I always told myself, I'll go back to it if I need to. But I switched to ESS just because it was something I liked, and it was something that was going to be more manageable for me at the time. And then the second part is create a support system. Yeah. Surround yourself with the people that are going to support your goals. And it's going to be the people that encourage you, that are going to hold you accountable. That's a big one. And that are really going to be the shoulder to cry on, and that are going to be there when you need to deal when things get tough. So for me, it was my friends and my husband. My friends, they were the shoulder to cry on. They were always the people that picked up when I was, when I called them, when I was so stressed or I just needed them to listen. They were there just to listen. And of course, they were going to, whatever I said, even if I was wrong, they were going to go with me regardless. And then my husband was really the person that was going to hold me accountable. He was the person that gave me the push to get out of teaching because he knew before I did that it was something that the work I was putting in was not really was not really working for me anymore. And he knew that at the time that I needed a change to reignite that passion. So it really helped me because he was the one that was always like, do whatever, I'm gonna support you no matter what. And it was nice just to have that reassurance that no matter what, like he's gonna be on my side. So you need that. You need someone who's gonna support you through no matter what. The third part, struggle builds strength. So as I mentioned before, there's always gonna be setbacks. This is inevitable. But the setbacks don't always equal failure. They're necessary to allow for growth. Finding ways around the obstacles are the only way that we make progress. So when I was in college, I was not a very good student. I failed some classes, and at the time, it was devastating, and it was embarrassing, and 10 years ago, me talking in front of a bunch of you, telling about how I failed would have never happened. I would have been mortified at the thought of that. But even though it was embarrassing at the time, I didn't know what I was going to do when that happened, I kept asking myself, what is the alternative? Because the alternative, anything that kind of got in my way, was not teaching. And that for me was not going to happen. It was just not a negotiable. It was not acceptable to me. So I had to retake classes. I humbled myself. I asked for help. And I got through by the skin of my teeth, but I got through. And right now, that's the only thing that matters to me. I got through. I made it. And then finally, developing a growth mindset. That's the fourth one. I'm going to touch on this very briefly, and the reason I'm not going to elaborate too much is because on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about growth mindset and being resilient with Taylor Buffton, who's the Director of Counseling. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that, but in summary, to give you a brief definition, it's the abilities and the intelligence it's the belief that abilities, intelligence can be developed. And it takes some mental reframing. And we're gonna touch on Wednesday about the mental reframing, so I do hope you come. I don't know if you have to come or whatever, but we're gonna touch on that mental reframing. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. It's no secret that teachers do a lot of work with very little time to do it. And when I was a teacher, this happened to me a lot, especially once I was like 5 or 6 years in. The work became very overwhelming, and I struggled to keep up with it. And I would get really frustrated with myself, and I felt like a failure because I was like, Lauren, you've been doing this for 5, 6 years. How do you not know how to navigate this by now? How do you, what are we doing? And, and that way of thinking can really mess with your self-worth. So I had to change my thinking. I kept telling myself, I am intelligent. I have a master's degree. I'm intelligent. I know things. I have the skills. I've been doing this for 5, 6 years. I've gained a ton of experience. I can do anything. However, I can't do everything. So I asked myself, if being a teacher means that I have to do everything, then being a teacher is no longer serving me. Then I need to take a break. I need to do something else. And so that's what I did. I changed my thinking, and I made a decision that would ultimately help me. And that's what brought me to here. So, I don't know what time I'm at, but now I want to talk about your turn. So I'm not going to sit here and talk anymore. I want you guys to come up with, to do some sort of activity. So I needed to, as I was trying to come up with what that activity would be, I wanted to come up with some sort of like simulation or situation that would present a problem and cause a little bit of struggle that you need to persevere through, but it's also something that you needed to be passionate about, which is tough to a room full of people who all have different interests and, and are unique in your own way. So here's the activity. What you're going to do is I'm going to present you with this option. So before I go into this, please know that this is completely made up, and this is not actually happening, but in the near future at least. So this is completely made up. But what you're going to do is, here's the problem, is that we need to invest in this campus. We need some upgrades. So let's say, hypothetical situation, we get granted millions and millions of dollars, but we only have limited funds. We can only upgrade one of these two things, either a new residence hall or a new learning center. Can you come up? And Severa, can you come up? I would like you guys, so I'm going to have Severa and Jen come up to kind of give you a little vision of what that might look like. And then I'm going to talk about what you're going to do with that information in just a second. Got it? What would a new residence hall look like?
Okay, I took some notes.
Your dream residence.
So what I think a dream residence hall would be is single rooms in a suite style living where 2 or 4 people share the bathroom, a kitchenette, a lounge that is very social, and a gym.
Oh, okay, wow. They like that idea.
Okay, your other option, if we're thinking about this beautiful Cardinal Meyer Library, the dream for me would be, let's add another floor on top of the circle, and let's make it a place where learning is at the center. So it's not just where you come to get books to check out or to check out our e-collection, but it's also a place that could be a maker space for you, where if you have the dream of becoming the next blogger, we would have space for you to do that. We would have quiet study pods that you could see, or that you could study or practice presentations in. If you were ever in band, do you remember those soundproof rooms that have the air circulations in them? I would take it up a notch, not like 1970s, but let's think futuristically. If you were from the high school I went to, because it always felt like I was walking into a freezer and never walking out. So think about like having a quiet space, but it's also new furniture, reinvigoration, where you want to come and study, where you could study individually, but also pod-like. But then additionally think about, let's get a 3D printer. Let's find other ways to build on learning of what you're doing in the classroom and bringing it to life outside of the classroom, because learning never ends. After you leave here, it's not going to end. So we want you to learn how to learn. So let's make that center the place. Boom. No, that's really unexpected.
Okay. Nice, okay. Cool. So now you know some of the parameters. Here's the challenge. You're going to work within your sections, okay? You do have to stay in the auditorium. You can't go out, so you kind of have to like huddle together or find space, whatever. But in your sections, you need to make a unanimous decision. You all have to agree. You all have to be united on this decision. And you also have to present me with an argument. Why should the funds be dedicated to your choice? Okay? So, hold on. There's more. So a couple things that might make this unproductive. Okay, this is an example of a productive struggle. What's going to make this unproductive? 1 to 2 people that overpower everyone else and they don't leave room for any other's ideas. That just kind of take over because nobody's talking, so they're just going to get through it. When there's no communication at all, everyone's just kind of sitting around staring at each other. If you're the group that just makes a decision to get through it, that's not really passionate. Like, if you think about it, you are paying a lot of money to come here. You are investing a lot of time to being here. This is something you should be passionate about. This is something that, that should fuel you a little bit. And then the other thing is, what might make it unproductive is if you don't have a strategy. You do have a time constraint. You have 10 minutes to get this done. And then I'm going to go around to each individual section and ask about, what's your decision, what's your argument, but you're only going to have 10 minutes to talk. So some strategy is going to be important. So let me start the timer. Any questions? Mentors, come see me. Mentors, come see me. Ready? On your marks, get set, go. You have 10 minutes. Mentors, come to me, please.
5 minutes, 5 minutes. Two-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
How do I? Oh.
Okay, 10 minutes is up. 10 minutes is up. Who should I ask first? You can go back to your seats if you'd like. Can I have this section maybe gaggle somewhere else? Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask each section to what their thoughts were. So section 1, is this you? Are you section 1 or are you section 1? Okay, you guys are section 1. Where? Okay, all right, section 1. What do you got?
We said the Learning and Writing Center because, oh gosh.
Learning and Writing Center, okay?
Okay. We said the Learning and Writing Center because the current freshmen, if you upgraded Neighbor now, they wouldn't be able to benefit from it. Like it happened in a couple years. And I made the point to a few of them that live in Neighbor that in 2 years when they're a junior, like even if you live on campus, like there's not many places to study. And Neighbor is really only a freshman building. Like there's no, like you're not going to be going into Neighbor at all. So.
That sounds awfully selfish. Just because you're not going to benefit from it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, section 2. We've got 1 for the Learning Center. Section 2, what do you got? I should have stayed up here. Where's section 2? Okay, what do you got?
Okay, so we said upgrade Neighbor because the amount of money that we pay for housing, Neighbor needs an upgrade. Incoming freshmen will be more interested in the housing, like, this is like contrasting to what you said. Yes, it's only for freshmen, but the people that are incoming will be more interested in what housing we offer. Neighbor is an older building and the library was upgraded in 2018 recently, so it's newer and already offers a lot for students. We looked that up.
Oh.
That's what they said. That's what they said. That was not me. Anywho, there's more privacy for things such as studying because you have your own room.
Okay.
And a gym will be more convenient for students for working out and practices. So.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, nice. It came with receipts.
Lauren, we grabbed more mics to help you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go back down here. They came with receipts. So there's 1 for the residence hall, 1 for the Learning Center. Section 3, what do you got? Section 3? Okay.
Where's that mic?
Where's the microphone? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, section 3. Maybe someone that was on their phone.
That one. She wants to.
Gopher. Give it to Topher.
I'm not sensing a lot of cohesiveness here.
You look like you want to.
Or passion.
We just said the same thing. We said Neighbor Hall just because it would be more like welcoming for students who are coming in as freshmen. It would be more an environment that just looks more welcoming. I don't know. We didn't really talk completely about it, but.
Can I ask what kind of worked for your group to come to that decision?
What was that?
What worked for your group to come to that decision since it had to be unanimous? Like, did you guys run into any struggles or was it easy peasy? Everyone was just like, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, we talked about the gym and how some people have to like rent it out at points, so it would be just more efficient if we could all.
Was there any pushback from anybody in the group?
No. Everybody agreed on it.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's what, two for residence hall? Two for residence hall, one for learning center. Section 4? Okay,
We chose neighbor because we kind of talked about how neighbor is only for freshmen and you can only be in freshman year. You can only be in there like as a freshman. But we think that when it comes to touring and comes to deciding on like where you want to live, we need a better like look at neighbor because it's just kind of run. I don't want to say run down, it sounds bad. But with these upgrades, I think it'd be a better place to live. It'd be more social because everyone kind of just stays in their rooms. There's not like, there's hangout areas, but there's not like anything to do in them. So with the gym, it'd give us like more of a healthy social gathering. And then, yeah, we kind of just talked about like, it's more of a look for incoming freshmen because without incoming freshmen, we don't have a school. You need more people come and cheer. So it helps like the school get more people and get, just look better.
so you guys were down at the front here, right? You guys were all kind of congregated here. You guys seemed like you came to a decision pretty easily. What worked well for you? No, you did not, okay. What struggles did you encounter?
It was a big community like struggle. Like, do we want more for everybody or more for just like the freshman and neighbor? So
Okay.
I think we kind of just agreed.
Okay, and how'd you get through it?
We kind of just got through it by talking it out. Like, we talked about how the things offered for the library, as in like separate rooms to study like by yourself, you can do that in the science hall already and do that in empty classrooms. That was like one of the things they told me during my tour, was there's always places to be like by yourself and do them. So we don't really need that because we already have a place for it.
Okay, good. That was my next question. Okay, good. What about section 5? Where are you guys? Here. All right, section 5. You're being voluntold. Okay, what do you got? So right now we are at 3 for the residence hall, 1 for the learning center. What do you guys got?
We decided on the Learning Center.
Okay.
And it was split decision at first, but we talked through it. People who currently live in Neighbor obviously said they want to upgrade Neighbor. You got to remember, you're only there for a year. And if you're going to expand Neighbor into what, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. What she said for the points of expanding Neighbor were single rooms, in the suite style. You can't just renovate the building that's currently there. You would have to demolish and then take up more of the space on campus, which is actually really beautiful as is. You would eliminate parking right there then, pretty much. And then what are you going to do in the meantime? That's going to take, where are you going to put the freshmen while it's being revised or whatever? The Learning Center, you would just build on top of it, so.
Good point.
And then with the new technology, that brings in more possible degrees, more possible investors, more funding, and then it kind of benefits everyone all 4 years.
Okay, so at first you guys kind of you were on opposite sides of this, and what kind of swayed all your decisions? What was the thing that really made you come up with, you're pointing at her, so you were just the spokesperson, you were like, no, this is what we're doing?
I did not say that.
Okay.
I validated their points on what they wanted.
Okay.
But I also was like, sure, you want AC, but you only need AC 1 month a year. It gets cold here in October. So,
Okay.
and then I was like, 1 year versus 4, pretty much.
Fair, okay. So that's 3 and 2.
We got 6 back here.
6, go ahead. 3 and 2 in favor of the residence hall.
We decided on Neighbor as well, simply just because not having air conditioning is kind of ridiculous in my opinion, even though I'm not there. Also, it'll attract.
Did everyone else share in that opinion, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Also, it attracts more students, better students also for better facilities, and kind of adding on to her point, the renovation to the library will also probably shut down the library too, so we won't have access to that building while that's going on. Also, gym facilities, what we have on campus right now is kind of lacking, so a big upgrade would be very nice. That's about it.
Did you guys hit any roadblocks, or were you all unanimous from the get-go?
Not really. There's a couple people who disagreed, but we were able to convince them pretty quickly.
Okay, pretty quickly, okay. The AC is the big argument, yeah, okay. All right, so we got 4 in favor of the residence hall, 2 in favor of the learning center. What are we at, section 6, 7, 6?
Yep, we're on 7.
7. Okay, I think I know where this is gonna go. What do you got?
As a group, we agreed on the learning center.
Okay.
We did a little,
Did you have any influence with that, or were there any influence?
what was that?
Did you have any influences from
No.
anyone, or no?
No.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
We went with a little domino effect here. We said there's more space, and with more space, more people can use it. With more people in the library, there's going to be an improvement on GPA. And the higher the GPA the school has, you could get more donations, get more money, and basically turning Marian University into Ivy League.
Okay. Your whole section seems really fired up.
Thank you.
Your whole section seems really fired up about this. There's a lot of cohesiveness here, too. Okay, so we're at 4-3. Do we have any more, or is that the last one?
Nope, we got 8.
One more.
Section 8.
2 more? What's H1 and H2?
And H1 and H2 are honors folks too. I'm going to go right here.
okay.
You're 8? You're 8?
Okay.
So our group decided to do a neighbor residence hall. What was the awe, guys? Come on.
Do you want
This
to
is
change your vote now that you have some?
No, actually,
criticism? Okay.
I think that their idea was pretty solid.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty smart. But I feel that adding a new gym and a new residence hall would be way better because you'd get more people to communicate with others in a social learning aspect. Also, a lot of the players here play sports, so they'd like a gym. You know, some AC is nice too from these guys.
Okay.
That was about it. We had some backlash from these two, but
Okay.
other than that, it was pretty good.
Okay. So what did you do despite the backlash? What did you do about that? Did you just
I just wanted them to give their opinions and how they felt, and then I kind of just told them that they were wrong. No, I'm playing.
Okay. All right, well.
They were talking about the learning pods and just being able to study individually, and then I had said that if you'd want to do that, you could either do it in your room or in the open classrooms or the learning zones in the other science building, Agnes,
Okay.
even Stair, all the other buildings that there are.
Nice. Okay. So that's 5 in favor of the residence hall, 3 in favor of the learning center. Down to 2 more groups.
H1.
here.
H1 is, yep, okay, go ahead.
All right.
There we go. All right, our group decided on the learning center and the library.
5 to 4.
And we chose that for like 3 main reasons. Number 1 was because the Learning Center update would benefit all grades rather than just one grade, which would mean benefiting 1,200-ish people rather than just 200. And we also decided that because everyone is here for like academics and developing your potential in your future, and the library would do just that. And so that's why we decided the library and the Learning Center.
Okay. You gentlemen in the front seem very confident with this decision. Ladies in the back, are you in agreement with that? Yeah? Okay. You guys are on board with all that? Okay. All right, so there's 5 to 4, right?
Yep, here's
Okay.
H2.
H2, go ahead. It's a group decision.
All right, so we chose neighbor. Man, get on out of here. What's it called? So we chose neighbor because, man, it's so hot. And But like, what's it called? So one of my friends, it's so bad that he's trying to leave neighbor and go over to courtyard because it's affecting his sleep style. It's affecting his
Summer's
sleep
almost
style.
over.
That doesn't mean,
I mean-
anything though.
Summer is almost over.
All people feel temperature different,
Okay.
right? And it affects the lifestyle that they have, and I feel like it's more important for. Yeah, guys, be quiet, man. I'm talking. Right? And so pretty much, I feel like it's more important to focus on where you're living for a whole entire year instead of where you're going to be studying a little bit later. Because if you don't have a healthy mind, you're not going to be able to learn anything anyway. Right? So better to focus on the mental state that you have right now than on the learning state that will have to come after.
Did you come up with that, or did the ladies help you?
Yeah,
with-
everybody
with
helped me.
that?
I mean, I didn't come up with that. I was just like, man, it's hot. Everybody else came help.
And they helped you elaborate? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're at 6-4 in favor of residence hall.
It was 5-5, 5-5.
5-5, it was? Are you sure? It was 6-4.
That's 5-5.
I was keeping... What was it? Okay, wait. All right, show of hands, but only sections. Show of hands. Well, no, it was, you guys had, no, it was 6-4. It was not 5-5. It was 6-4.
I guess Sigurd and I'll have to
Okay.
body slam it out. We're going to wrestle. He's trying to trick you.
Regardless, all right, you don't win anything, but it's good to know that you guys, like, this is something that you're passionate about. And I mean, if the president were to come in here today and ask you exactly what you wanted, it would be nice to give him that argument. So that's all I have for you. Make sure you touch base with your instructor before you leave, just in case they have any messages for you. Thank you guys for your participation.
Thank you, Ms. Warren.
Easier than I thought.
They did well, didn't they? I'm sure it seemed like there was a lot of like
because I came in like 5 minutes late and I didn't know I was sick because it wasn't up.
Okay, so what section are you? Who's your instructor? Is that me? So are you, okay, I have to think. What's your name? Demetria. Okay, Demetria, I have you down. You're good.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. You're at me, right? Attendance, yeah.
Should be.
Okay.
Where are we going to go?
Normal classroom. Just today I'm here, just on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. What section are you again? Yeah. I was gonna mess up. Let me see.
I'm all teachers.
Yes, I have you. You're down. Thank you.